What's up, everybody? Welcome to Moneyline Media. We are here on this beautiful Tuesday night. We are about to be joined by another great guest, former Cal Bear, former Patriot, former Chief, Ryan O'Callaghan, baby. Deirdre, give us a little rundown.
Ryan O'Callaghan had a great career, obviously, with New England and the Chiefs. He won the Morris Trophy in college, which is given to the best offensive and defensive linemen voted on by his peers. But what has really made him kind of a star is his coming out after his NFL career and now being an LGBTQ activist. And he is absolutely incredible. You might have remembered him. He was in the Aaron Hernandez documentary and talked about his experience of being gay and being in the NFL and how he had to hide. And we're so excited to have him on. And he is joining us right now. A great player, a great man, and very excited. Hi, Ryan. How you doing?
Hello, I'm all right. How are you guys?
Good. Very excited to have you on. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for being able to push it back. It's been a wild day. It is very dark in here. Hold on. Hold on. I have a ring light, but
No worries. Take your time. So
that's better, right?
yeah, perfect. Perfect. So we want to get to everything in your career and after your career with your, LGBTQ activism. But we have to start from the beginning. Why did you pick California? I know you're from California, but is there a reason why you picked to go to the California Bears? How was your recruitment? Let us know a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, really, the main reason I went to Berkeley was they were the first ones to offer. So I was before my junior year, I went to the University of California football camp, and that was my first time at like a big program's football camp. I really went because my dad wanted me to, and so it was, it was just one of those things. But I did really well there. I was given the award for the best lineman, and really no time after I got home, I got a phone call and I was offered a scholarship. So
nice.
I committed, and I thought that would be the end of the recruiting process, but that just that just really made things heat up a bit.
Wow, that's awesome.
So fast forward a little bit, Ryan. It's 2006, the 5th round, and you get drafted to the Patriots. Tell us what that felt like for you.
Yeah, so I think anyone that's familiar with my story knows I wasn't exactly passionate about football. It really just served the purpose of being a cover for being gay,
Right.
But my goal was to play football as long as possible, and,
right.
and ending up in New England at that point was really a great fit. I was projected to go earlier the day before, but I landed in a great situation. The NFL, really half the battle is ending up in a position on a team with a roster that's kind of favorable for you. So I was coming into a situation where I had an opportunity to start, and that's what ended up happening.
Yeah. So you talked about how it was a front for you coming out and being gay. I remember hearing and listening to a lot of your interviews. You said the Patriots were the perfect place for you. Was there any place that you were like, I don't know how this will fit, that you kind of like didn't want to go to at all?
Yeah, well, but going into it, I didn't think the Patriots would be the perfect place. I didn't really know. I wasn't familiar with Boston. I'd never been to Boston, and but once I got there, I quickly realized it was the atmosphere of being in New England with Coach Belichick and Brady, and really the extreme focus on winning that made it the perfect place. I think everyone was so focused on that one goal that it kind of, in a way, a little bit helped me relax a bit.
Right.
Yeah, but everyone can point at a couple teams that are just terrible, or in a city that's, nothing against Buffalo, but does anyone really want to go play for Not really. So I ended up in an okay position.
Right, right. And
Like, listen,
especially,
we live in New York and we don't want to go to Buffalo.
yeah.
No. Buffalo loses out on a lot of good players because people don't want to live there, and that's the
Right.
reality of the situation. I've been to Buffalo. I had nothing against it, but it's cold.
Yeah, very cold. I mean, we're like New York City people, and I don't think that you could even make me want to like play for the Jets, even though I'm a Jets fan, just because it's like not a winning culture. And I think that that kind of comes into play with you need something to be like the only determining factor. And I feel like in New York as well, it's like there's so much nightlife, there's so much paparazzi, like you're always caught. Was that like a situation you were nervous about going to even like a big city like Los Angeles or New York and, you know, having maybe more temptations than a place, even though Boston is pretty liberal and, you know, stuff like that, not as much as like Los Angeles or Chicago or a New York.
Yeah, that the whole obviously I always had being gay on my mind. That's really all I thought about, that and football making the team. But I wasn't too worried about the actual location as far as if it was liberal or conservative.
Gotcha.
That really wasn't, because I also played for Kansas City. Kansas City,
Right, it's the whole opposite.
yeah, Kansas City. It's probably one of the most liberal areas in Missouri, but still, it's totally opposite than anything on the East Coast. But
right.
So really, it was more the position on the team and the atmosphere that made me comfortable instead of the actual city itself.
Gotcha.
So Ryan, we have you do have a foundation, the Ryan O'Callaghan Foundation. If you could tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I came out publicly in 2017, and after I did that, I came out through Outsports, but basically every other media outlet picked up the story, and which got me a lot of attention, which then led to a lot of different opportunities getting thrown my way. It didn't quite sit right by just pocketing, the money from those opportunities, and so I figured, a great way to give back would be to start the foundation. So I did that with the purpose of helping out really people that were in a similar position as me, not necessarily pro athletes, but athletes on any level that are struggling with their sexuality. And so really the purpose of the charity originally was really mainly focused on scholarships, but I didn't quite understand the demand there would be from individuals reaching out to me, coming out to me, wanting to speak and meet face to face. So, the original mission of the charity shifted a little, but I think I'm doing more good for more people in that way than giving one person a scholarship.
For sure. And I also wanted to bring up and just thank you because I'm a lesbian woman, just bought a house with my beautiful girlfriend, and hearing stories like yours where you came from a situation that is a super masculine, and I'm not going to say homophobic, but definitely more masculine and kind of away from the scene, and coming out and being as strong as you were, it is very inspirational. So thank you for what you've done for our community.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I hear what you say about, people. A lot of people assume football is a toxic environment for LGBTQ people, but it's really not. Like, I can't say it enough. Like, I can't name an instance in the locker room in the NFL to where I can remember a teammate just, going off with bigoted language or anything like that. Just, in high school, kids are kids. I don't want to make excuses, but kids say dumb things. But, the NFL was a very inviting environment. And even, today with all the different things the NFL has enacted to try to help support the LGBT community, it's, I'm very confident that someone today could come out while playing and really have a successful career. And it actually might in a way help their career.
I hope so. I hope so, and I hope that we have a athlete who plays in the NFL and is gay sooner than later. I want to bring up this one thing. You were in a very popular documentary that came out this year in January. I How did that come about, and how was your feelings after that documentary came out? I have to bring it up. I'm sorry. It's a big part of 2020.
Yeah. Well, I'll start by saying I didn't know Aaron. I never played with Aaron. I was on the team before he got there.
Right.
So we filmed that about a year before it aired in Las Vegas. And Gino, the producer, reached out, told me exactly what he was doing, his vision for the documentary, which ended up being exactly what he ended up producing, which is rare. They actually keep their word, but he did. And so I was just asked to really give my perspective as a closeted athlete, the things I was feeling, worried about, the things I did to hide my cover. Now, I was very clear, I think, in the documentary too, but with him, that I didn't know Aaron. I don't know if he was gay, if he was bi. I have no idea. So I was very hesitant. I didn't want to come off as if I knew something about him that I didn't know, because the last thing I want to do is act like I was outing him, because I don't know what he was. But the whole idea of me participating was, if he was this, he could have been feeling this way, which could lead to doing drastic things. I thought they did a good job with the documentary. They were responsible. They could have added. There was a lot of speculation around a lot of things that they left out, which I think was responsible of them. You know, it would have just, probably would have gotten more attention, more headlines, but I think it was the right thing to do, since it really was just speculation. And were the things probably true? Yeah, but I thought overall they did a great job, and it did get a lot of attention.
I mean, I watched it like the first week it came out. It was very interesting, and I have a bunch of friends, and I let them know that I'm like interviewing you. I'm fangirling about you a little bit, and they're very excited for me. But it's true. It was the documentary was very good, and I thought, even though they touched on him potentially being gay, I thought they also did a good job of saying you don't know for sure. I thought that was very good.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the man's no longer with us.
Right.
If he was gay, he went to some extreme lengths to hide it.
Right.
So I respect that and tell the story at the same time.
Right.
Absolutely. So, Ron, I would just like to absolutely say thank you for everything you do with your foundation as well. I am not a member of the LGBTQ, but I am a huge supporter. My co-host is a member, and I did just have a daughter 2 months ago, so I would like for this world to be a way better place by the time that she grows up. I would like for it to be tomorrow, but we got a lot of work to do. So thank you for taking that step. You did not have to do that. I understand what you were saying, that you felt guilty about pocketing it and stuff like that. So it's absolutely amazing that you're doing that. And we will be adding the link to your foundation in the YouTube video when we release it.
Great. Yeah, I appreciate it. And allies like you, straight guys and everything, being supporters of the community and making sure you raise your children the right way. Absolutely. That's really what it takes. Any social change movement, whether it's Black Lives Matter or anything, it's the allies who are really going to move it forward in the long run. So
100%.
It's really important.
I have been to marches for both of those, for gay rights and for Black Lives Matter. My uncle is gay, and when he came out, I remember it was like a whole change in the family. Like he hid it for 33 years. Yeah. And I remember he actually asked me if I hated him now when he came out. I was like, absolutely not.
I relate though. I asked when I first started coming out to people, I didn't know. I was like, well, do you hate me? Like I lied to you for so many years. But the overwhelming majority of people, they understand. They knew why you were hiding and I guess lying to them, but it's a forgivable thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd rather see people happy in who they are than hiding it and be in pain. So
exactly.
Ryan, you brought up in many interviews your mental health when it came to the string of coming out. And for people who don't know your coming out story, can you kind of tell it a little bit?
Yeah, I say this kind of haphazardly now, but I had no plans on living. I planned on playing football and then ending my life. And towards the end of my football career, I got injured, one injury over another injury, and the writing was on the wall that football was over. And I knew my plan So I really started to spiral out of control. Painkillers have been a part of my life early on because I had a lot of surgeries, but I was never an addict. It was never a problem. But, later years in the NFL, really the last year in the NFL, I started abusing painkillers. I was an absolute junkie. It was worse than abusing. I was an addict in every sense of the term. But I think like a lot of addicts, I thought I was doing a good job of hiding it. But our athletic trainer for the Chiefs noticed I was acting different, and he didn't understand why, but I was using painkillers not only to get rid of the pain from my surgeries, but to numb the mental pain that I was feeling from being closeted. And so him noticing something was up with me, he recommended I go speak to someone. My whole life up to that point, I was manipulating people and controlling conversations. So I thought, okay, I'll just agree to go talk to someone. I'll get in and out of that like I've done everything else. But when I met Dr. Wilson, she had a way of not letting that happen. She was about as opposite of me as you can get. She was a middle-aged, she probably wouldn't like me saying that, but middle-aged, shorter African-American lady from the inner city. And she just wouldn't put up with me or, my little games. And I spent months and months talking with her and really just kind of, I guess, just telling her only so much to make her happy and get out of the next meeting. But as that time went on, the season was coming to an end, and I decided for the first time ever to tell someone that I was gay. And the first time I ever said the words "I'm gay" was to Dr. Wilson. And the first thing she did was stood up and gave me a hug and told me that I wasn't the first player to sit there in that same seat and tell her the same thing. And I never thought I was the only one, but to actually hear that from her and in that situation, it kind of made me open my eyes. And, at that point, I told her my whole plan, committing suicide and my fears of family and everything that made me feel that way. And she pretty much helped me come up with a plan to come out to family and really see if my worst fears were true. And that's really what ended up, leading me where I am today and saving my life.
Yeah. Wow. I think a lot of people, and I mean, I remember I was 9 people, and I think the more people talk about how this is how I did it and it gets better, the more that our society is going to move forward with this. So
yeah, and for my case, after I my whole life I was worried about what my family and close friends would think, and I thought I needed their acceptance. And after I've come out and everything, years have gone by, I realized I didn't need their acceptance. Like, I'm fine on my own.
Right.
It's great to have family and everything, but I look back at my plan to commit suicide and thought I needed this, I needed that from them. I laugh at myself at how ridiculous I was. There's a whole community of people out there that love and accept you just how you are, and if your family doesn't accept you, yeah, it's bad for a while, but it ain't the end of the world. There's a whole another family out there somewhere, so don't worry about it.
Right. You can't make everyone happy. The person you have to make happy is yourself.
Yeah, a lot of people come up with a lot of stupid reasons to not like someone, so don't worry about that. Just realize that real confidence is knowing that you don't need these people, and it's not being confident that they'll like it. It doesn't matter. So
right.
I had a few months ago, we were doing a show and we touched on this subject, and I remember saying you can hate people for a lot of reasons that they choose to do, but you should never hate somebody for something they can't choose. And that was like for any skin color issue or any lesbian, gay, straight, whatever. These are things that people aren't choosing. You can't hate people for what they can't choose.
It's hard for some people to understand that it's not a choice, but it's also hard for someone to argue against that without, people can be religious, believe what you want. I have nothing against that, but it's hard to argue against that without bringing up the Bible. And there's a whole argument to have what the Bible really says anyways, but it takes a lot more energy to dislike someone than to like them. So
absolutely.
What would what would your advice be to a young man who maybe is playing football or playing another sport or not even playing a sport, but is suffering with coming out as someone who went through that suffering and the mental health behind it? What would be your advice for them?
Yeah, see, when I was closeted, I never took even 10 minutes to stop and think, okay, what if I did come out? Would it be okay? I never
Right.
paused to think of the potential positives, not once in 29 years. And
Wow.
I just say, like, slow down, stop, and try to, get above you 100 feet and look down at your honest situation and try to see the positives and start by doing that, because I never did that. And I think if I would have looked back and really thought about the wider friend circle I had and just, I think maybe put less weight on the words I heard from family and I think it would have gone a long way. But just really try to see the positives, and if you feel like you want to tell someone, start with one person. I think everyone can look at their close circle of friends and pick out who they think would be the most accepting, and start by telling them, but also let them know that it's very important that they don't tell anyone else, that it's your secret. So
Right.
Yeah, just look for the positives and start by telling one person. It gets easier every time.
Yeah, that's for sure. It really does.
Yeah. But that first person, telling that first person, oh boy, that's yeah.
Yeah, it's like getting I laugh. I just like, it's like getting this big relief off your shoulders, and you're like, man,
Yeah.
it really is. It's like the weight of the world is off you.
Yeah, and I feel so silly thinking about how much pressure I put on this, or all the energy I put into keeping this secret. And now it's like, now I forget that I'm gay. Like I forget, oh, that's
That's something
different.
that's
Like now,
right.
oh, okay, I need to remind someone. So
Right.
It's funny. I've been that first person a few times now in my life, and every time that they tell me, I feel like it's such an honor to be that first person. Now, granted, on a few of these occasions, it was actually my ex-girlfriend, and they are happily married and in their relationship. So it was not just their excuse, but
he was their beard.
Yeah, I'm sure there's been a few jokes about that, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, trust you didn't turn anyone gay or lesbian.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
yeah. But honestly, it is it is very honor. I feel honored that people have come out to me as their first person, and I've actually helped a couple people tell their parents, and that's been an interesting experience.
Yeah, well, no, you should feel good because they obviously see something in you that they
Sure.
trust or some other quality, and certainly not a bad thing.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah,
Telling the parents is a little bit of pressure on me.
every parent is different, but
Yeah.
it's more times than not, way more times than not, it goes well.
Well, I think about what you said and how you said that you were contemplating suicide and that was like your end game for it. And I, as a father now, like I keep thinking to myself, like my daughter was in that situation, like, and she wanted to tell me that she should never feel fear of that because I would rather have a gay or lesbian child than a dead child.
Yeah.
Like that's, and I don't understand how certain parents can deny that because it's just love your kids no matter what.
Yeah, and I don't know. Well, you have a daughter or a son?
I have a daughter. Yep, 2 months.
I mean, and when she hits puberty, don't start asking, "Hey, you have a boyfriend?" Just say, "Hey, do you have a boyfriend, girlfriend?" Like just, and that's a subtle way of letting them know you're accepted.
That's a great point. Do you have any advice for parents, like growing up? Because you talk about after puberty, I knew, but everyone, and you said I would want to avoid that question. Where's your girlfriend? And you talked about how you gained tons of weight. You made sure you chewed tobacco and that you were like, because even like now, between your pictures from playing days, you are so handsome and here, and you look a little more rugged in your playing days, and you're very, very handsome, obviously.
It's called a glow up. Yeah.
It's a glow up. Yeah, you had a glow up.
Yeah.
You had a glow up. But you talked about how you made sure that you were unattractive so that people wouldn't ask you that question. Do you have any advice for just people in general when talking to people about significant others and that type of situation, just like what you brought up to James?
Yeah, I think there's a subtle way of doing it to show that you're an ally or that you care, and not really making a big deal out of it. That's really my best recommendation. Even when I talk to coaches and talk to them about the language they use and how to show that they're inclusive, it's the same idea of just at the end of the practice and you have your team break, instead of saying have fun with your girlfriends this weekend, say just slip in their boyfriends too. And
Right.
Trust me, the closeted people will hear that, and they'll hear it, they'll feel more accepted. So
Right.
It's just subtle things like that is better, and it really goes a long way.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
It's the little things that make the big impacts.
Ryan, you talk about also, you got a very powerful man called you after you came out to show his support for you, and Robert Kraft. And as a Jets fan, I'm not a big fan of him, but after hearing that story, I really appreciate that's something to know, that another straight ally. What was that like for you to get the call from him?
Yeah, I've spoken more with Mr. Kraft since I came out than I did when I was playing. He's one of those owners that lets Belichick do his thing. Those
Right.
are the best type of owners. They let the coaches coach. But yeah, it was great to hear from him. To know, the guy signing your paycheck was an ally all along, and
Right.
really now to understand exactly all that he does for the LGBTQ community. It's huge. But he's not the only owner either. Like,
No.
you're probably not a fan of the Giants either, but the Maras and the Tisch family who own the Giants, they are huge allies. They both have gay sons, and they're huge allies that do a lot. They've supported my charity, and there's a lot of NFL owners out there who are actually allies.
Right.
Most of them.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And just for reference, way more a fan of a Giant than a Patriot. No offense.
Oh.
But you, I am a fan of.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
She talks smack to me every week about the Giants, and now she's going to stand here and say,
No.
I couldn't tell you how any team in the NFL is doing right now. So I have not watched one game since I retired.
oh, wow.
No, I don't watch football. It was genuinely just a cover for me. I don't.
I was going to ask, do you feel like watching it kind of brings back bad memories, or?
No, I don't. I don't care for it. Like the last 2 years, the NFL's had me down at the Super Bowl hosting groups of LGBTQ kids, and I can go to the game. No, I just left. Like I don't.
Wow.
It does nothing for me. Like there's people that would cut off their left arm to go to the Super Bowl.
A lot of money.
It's like I've played in one, which is whatever, but like for me to take up that kind of ticket, it's like, no, that's a waste. So
That's so funny. That's so funny that you said I played in one and it's whatever.
Yeah. Then they're done.
Been there, done that. That's so interesting. So if you could go back in time and either come out during your college days or come out during your playing days, do you think that you would have continued playing, or no? It was all just a cover.
No, it was all just a cover.
All just a cover.
There was also never. I don't know what I was waiting for. Obviously, if I was going to end my life, I would have, and I had no hope whatsoever for the future. I would have done it a long time ago before I ended up coming out. But I don't know what I was waiting for. Like I don't know what I could have heard that would have made me feel accepted or anything else. But no, I wouldn't have played football. But I also don't regret it, because where I'm at now, everything else, it's great. And changing anything, who the hell knows where that would land me. So,
and also by playing in the NFL, you're able to have this amazing voice now that, it's, people, because you were an NFL football player, take this so more seriously than just another person, which is sad, but it's the truth.
Yeah, I understand that. And I'm happy to lend my voice and use what little pedestal I have. And but I hope one of these closeted guys that's in the NFL right now that I've spoken to comes out and speaks up. And I think everyone realizes gay guys in the NFL. It's just a matter of them
I
coming
mean,
out.
right.
You know, pass the torch to one of them hopefully soon.
Yes. Ryan, thank you so much for coming on the show. We had a blast. It was so amazing to hear your story. We hope to have you back sometime if you would let us, and we hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You guys too. Stay safe out there. And yeah, I'm happy to come back. This is kind of a tease, and it's not supposed to be. There's going to be some bigger things coming up in the future here. So we'll have more to talk about.
For sure. We can't wait.
Beautiful.
And thank you for everything that you've done for the LGBTQ community.
All right, for sure, guys. Just doing my part. All right, stay safe this holiday.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Great
All
guy.
right, guys. That was Ryan O'Callaghan.
Ex-Patriot, ex-Chief, and current LGBTQ activist.
Cal Bear. And Deirdre, I do have to say, I do have a Cal shirt that I forgot to bring.
Figured it. But, wow. Great guy.
Great guy. If you guys want to support him, you can go to the link in the description of this YouTube video.
And Spotify.
It's going to be the Ryan O'Callaghan Foundation that supports youth in the LGBTQ community. It's a beautiful foundation, guys. Go show your support. We would appreciate it. Ryan would appreciate it. All of the LGBTQ would appreciate it. So if you guys can do that, that'd be great. Great interview. Great guy. We're going to be wrapping up tonight, and we're going to be moving on to something tomorrow. We have another guy joining us tomorrow.
Mason Bennett
joining us tomorrow, baby.
Woo! CFL 8th pick. We can't wait. CFL's coming back, and we're excited. First year that we're going to be into it.
22nd.
Go BC Lions. But
Lions.
he's a Tiger. He's a Hamilton Tiger. But thank you guys so
Oh,
much for watching.
Go BC Lions, Deirdre.
I don't know. I like the BC Lions. All right. Thanks, guys, so much for joining us.
Stay
And have
safe,
a good one.
Stay well.
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Take care.
Happy Thanksgiving.